Hey everyone, Brian Zane here. So earlier this week, I watched Wrestle Kingdom 11. I stayed up late at night on Tuesday after having shot and edited Who Wore It Better for the week, and I sat down and I watched Wrestle Kingdom 11 live. Actually, I couldn't even watch the whole thing in one sitting because I was too tired, so I went to bed and woke up and immediately watched the last hour of the show after that. And I have to say, this show, in a word, was incredible. I'm not going to talk about every match on the card here in this video, and for the matches I do talk about, I'm not going to go like blow by blow for everything, because honestly I don't really know enough of the New Japan roster and storylines to truly do it justice the way I would with like WWE pay-per-views and Raws and SmackDown and for reviews for those shows. But I did get a lot of requests from people to talk about, in particular, the main event with Okada and Omega, and I will talk about that in a little bit, but before that I do want to talk about some matches from the show that really stood out to me and are really etched in my mind. And keep in mind, the descriptions that I have for these matches can't possibly do them justice. You really just have to watch the whole show yourself in order to truly appreciate the matches. So let's begin. Following the New Japan Rumble in the pre-show that was won by Michael Elgin, who was actually number one in the Rumble itself, featured other guys like Billy Gunn, Cheeseburger, Jushin Liger, and Scott Norton, Pop. The official opening match itself was an interesting anime tie-in as Tiger Mask W took on Tiger the Dark, aka Kota Ibushi and ACH in masks. Very interesting concept to have this kind of promotional tie-in for an anime show with live-action wrestlers. I don't think I've seen it done before. It was really interesting. I had the English commentary track for when I watched the show, so Steve Corino and Kevin Kelly. And honestly, I mean, these two were not very hyped for this match. You could tell they were just reading from a script. I think if it was just Ibushi and ACH without their masks, I think they would have been more hyped for it, more passionate about what they were talking about. But, you know, this match was what it was. It was a good match, just a good, technically sound match between these two excellent competitors. Again, if it was just ACH and Ibushi, I think there would have been more to it in terms of emotion from the wrestlers themselves and the announcers, but it was what it was. It was a good way to start the show. The Young Bucks defended the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championships against Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. I don't go out of my way usually to watch Young Bucks matches, but what I have seen of theirs, I am for the most part entertained by them. I think the super kick stuff is a little excessive, but that's kind of their whole act, and complaining about it is kind of old hat. But I do like their comedic mannerisms and all the stuff they do other than the super kicks as well. I love some of the funny spots they had in this match, like where they go out up the ramp, they powder, they go up the ramp, Roppongi Vice chase after them, they get hit with a double super kick, and then the Young Bucks sprint, they power run back to the ring to try and win by countout. That was pretty great. They super kicked a young boy. I thought that was hilarious. Beretta taking this sick bump over the top rope, doing a plancha. The Bucks move out of the way and he just eats it on the floor. That was a brutal looking bump. So for the rest of the match, you had Rocky basically fighting for the tag team championships by himself, which is a really cool story. I love his forever clothesline fire up. I mean, I've seen him do that a few times and it's hilarious every time. And I think the sequence he had with the Young Bucks in this one I thought was particularly entertaining. The match ends when the Bucks go for more bang for your buck. Rocky counters into a backslide and Beretta comes back from the dead, grabs onto the other Young Buck. I'm sorry, I can't at this point can't remember if it was Matt or Nick on the corner, grabbing him by the ankle. And so yeah, Rocky pins and wins the junior tag team titles for his team. A really fun match. The American Nightmare Cody taking on Juice Robinson, formerly known as CJ Parker from NXT, in what I thought was a pretty good match. I mean, I expressed how much I liked the match on Twitter on Tuesday night, and a lot of people disagreed with me, and I was confused by that because I think it was a good match. I think if you're only familiar with how these two wrestled in the WWE system, you really should go watch this match because they could do so much more. It wasn't the greatest match on the card by any means, but I thought it was good. I loved the storytelling. I loved how much CJ stole, or Juice Robinson, how much he sold the leg and how much passion he had. He's like, I'm in the fucking Tokyo Dome. That was great stuff. Plus, it's also been so long since I've seen Cody Rhodes as himself as a heel. I mean, I saw heel Stardust before he left, and he did the dashing and the deformed Cody Rhodes before that and stuff, but that was a long time ago, and I'm not familiar with how he's done in WCPW and Ring of Honor since leaving WWE, but I mean, having seen this match, I mean, seeing this American Nightmare persona, it's really refreshing to see Cody in this heel position. I think he was really good at it, so I think it was a very competitive match. I think Juice put up a hell of an effort. Ultimately, Cody defeats him with the Crossroads. IWGP Tag Team Championships, the Guerrillas of Destiny, Great Bash Heel, and Chaos. Honestly, I don't remember a ton about this match except for two things. One, that the strikes were particularly stiff looking, and two, the fact there was so much swearing going on in the match, and Corino and Kelly were just losing it on commentary. That was hilarious. The swearing and then them reacting to it made it even better. I thought it was a really cool ending sequence when Toru Yano got the blind tag in. He hits the Guerrillas with a double low blow. Ishii hits a double lariat, and then Yano rolls one of them to get the belts. So that was really a cool way to end the match. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match, Kushida defending against Hiromu Takahashi. And folks, this match was pretty special. It had to be one of my favorite cruiserweight or junior weight, whatever you want to call it, matches I've seen in a long, long time. Think of like the best matches you saw in the Cruiserweight Classic, and then like ramp the drama and the impact and the excitement of all that up to like 100-fold, and you get a decent idea of what Kushida Takahashi was like. I thought it was great. They had so much strong style stuff in their matches, in the match that like is usually reserved for the bigger guys, but these guys pulled it off really well. There was one botch in this match, one noticeable botch, when Takahashi was on the top turnbuckle and he tried to hit Kushida with a Frankensteiner over the top rope to the outside, but he didn't quite get all of it, and so he just kind of like bounced off the rope in an awkward way. But beyond that, I mean, there wasn't much to complain about this match. I thought it was a very clean looking, brutal looking match, ultimately ending with Takahashi winning the title with the time bomb. Again, one of the matches, in my opinion, probably the second best match of the night. Again, in my opinion, I think if you do watch this show or you're going to watch a couple of matches, this is one of the matches you should see. Moving on to the IWGP Intercontinental Championship matches, Naito defending against Tanahashi. And again, another fantastic match. I did love the sequence where Tanahashi hit Naito with a sling blade on the apron, followed up with a cross body to the outside. That was a thing of beauty. There was a great double down sequence too when Naito hit his finisher Destino and he was going to go for another one, but Tanahashi countered it and turned it into a twist and shout, and they're both just down, and the crowd was just going, oh, it was awesome. The match ends when Naito hits 2 Destinos on Tanahashi, one of which from the second rope, to win and retain the championship. He broke the streak, because before that, the previous 6 championship matches on the show ended with title changes. So Naito was the first one to retain his championship. There's one title match to go, and if you can believe it, after all the amazing, exciting matches you've seen before this point, we're not done yet. Main event time, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship is defended as Okada fights Kenny Omega. And wow. That's really the best way to sum up this match, is wow. This was an amazing contest. I believe the hype, folks. When you see on social media people saying this is the match of the year, and even though we're only a few days into 2017, it's real. It's legit. This match was one of the most dramatic, exciting, intense matches I've seen in quite some time. And it's going to be really tough for anyone, be it in New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE, or otherwise, to try and match or top what these guys did. I've tried in these last few matches on this review to describe some spots and sequences in those matches, but I'm not even going to bother with this one because anything I say can't do it justice. Again, you really have to see this match in order to truly appreciate it. Like, in a bubble, in this one show, this match had to have some of the hardest looking hits, strikes I've ever seen before. Now, granted, I did skip the ROH Championship match with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole Bebe, and that had some pretty hard hits in it as well. That's probably a close second for me in terms of how hard the hits looked. But this one has just so much more drama to it, in my opinion. In the end, Okada retained the championship in a hellacious back and forth battle. The false finishes really could have gone either way. I thought at points Omega was clearly going to win it. I thought, oh my God, how did Omega kick out of these things Okada hit him with? Multiple Rainmaker lariats, and eventually Okada retains the championship. And again, this is the match. It's early candidate for the match of 2017. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it right now. So once again, as someone who is not entirely engrossed with the New Japan product, kind of watching this with fresh eyes, I was blown away by Wrestle Kingdom 11. I did see Wrestle Kingdom 9 and most of 10, so I knew going into it and it was going to be a good show, and I was certainly not disappointed. This show lived up to about all the hype I saw online and then some. I would definitely give this show an A grade. I think when you just look at the pure wrestling style and the storytelling involved and like what they're doing to each other in the ring, this totally kicks the ass of what you see in WWE. But really, it's kind of an apples and oranges thing with that comparison. It's not entirely fair to compare the two because they're two very different products you're seeing. Everybody hit so hard and everybody sold so dramatically on this show. I mean, there was a moment in at least almost every match where I would think, oh my God, this person's really hurt. Like, it made me feel like a new fan again, someone watching for the first time, or someone who's really early into my watching. As someone who's watched wrestling and has followed wrestling and been a part of wrestling for more than half my life, it's not every day you see matches that do that to you. And it's really cool to kind of like take the smart shades off and to just sit back and be a genuine fan again. And that's kind of what this show did for me. I will say it's definitely draining to watch because with so many matches, the fact that almost every match went this insane, intense pace, it's not something you can watch a lot of before you get tired. It's almost like too much of a good thing, if that makes any sense. But if you only watch one match on this show, you really just have to see the main event, Okada versus Omega. You won't be sorry. I will say, a side note, Omega does a way better Terminator-themed entrance than Triple H ever did at WrestleMania 31. If you watch just a handful of matches, like 2 or 3 matches. Definitely watch Kushida Takahashi. Definitely watch Naito Tanahashi. Those matches were great. If you want to just have like a fun laugh, you just want to see a fun match, watch the Roppongi Vice Young Bucks match for some laughs. Watch the Triple Threat Tag Team title match, if only just for the swearing and just hearing Kelly and Carino just totally lose their composure over the swear. That was some great stuff. And really, if you're somebody who's mostly unfamiliar with New Japan or has like seen literally nothing of New Japan, I think you really owe it to yourself to watch this show. You certainly will not regret it. Let me know what you thought about Wrestle Kingdom 11 if you've seen it in the comments section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you like it, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.